I'm Kim.
And I'm Jamie.
And this here's the wildest vlog in the wilderness.
We interrupt our typical broadcasts to bring you special coverage of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party 2018. We just got back from Disney World, and we'll have a lot more to tell you about that trip later on, but we wanted to tell you a little bit about our stop at Mickey's Not So Scary this year. We originally weren't going to go because we went last year. As you'll recall, we were Jungle Cruise skippers. And we were kind of like, oh, well, it's like the same stuff. And then we heard that they were doing special things with attractions. Specifically with Pirates of the Caribbean, the Teacups, and Space Mountain. So we decided that we had to go. So this year we were Disney Road signs.
Yes, the purple signs. And let me tell you, we got a lot of attention for those costumes. When we were walking around as skippers, we got a few like double takes, and a bunch of the cast members who saw it like got it and appreciated it. And especially the skippers working at Jungle Cruise that night appreciated it. But not nearly to the level of this costume. It was like everybody got it. Cast members were loving it. So it was just really fun for us to walk around because I really wasn't expecting that. I was expecting maybe a few like, oh, nice. But just the amount of people who laughed and said it like made their day and they thought it was creative and awesome. Just like, it really kind of made it extra special. So if you saw us and you said something, thank you.
So our main priority this trip at the Halloween party was not to see any of the special shows, even though we love them, but we wanted to see the attractions that had some special stuff going on. So our first stop was to Pirates of the Caribbean, which had live actors in the ride.
Yes, so we got there a little before 7, which is when the party officially starts. So we kind of made our way over to the Adventureland, Frontierland kind of area of the park. We're walking around, and then as 7 struck, and the ghost host appeared over the speakers to announce that the party had started, I saw the crowd kind of building up at Pirates, and I said, you know what, why don't we just run on now and see if Gunpowder Pete is there performing already. And he was, so.
And so were several others.
Yeah.
So we have some footage of that now. Sorry if it's a little shaky and dark, but we were trying to capture it as we were going, so here you go.
Oh boy, oh, do you have a key, miss?
We'll get back to you.
All right, thank you.
What do you call a pirate that skipped school? You say what?
What?
Captain Hooky. See, now you're thinking like a pirate. All right, sir. You look like a scurvy lad as well. Now, it's time for you to take a look at this feller. This be Gunpowder Pete. That's who we're looking for tonight. Keep an eye. Keep a sharp eye, but don't try to take him yourself.
Hey there, you bilge rat!
Oh, quit your clucking. The gentlemen want the rum. Don't you, boy?
Hey, watch the run!
And what do we have here? More pirates thinking they're going to be taking the gold from old Gunpowder Pete, the greatest pirate in the 7 seas. Huh? You got no chance. I bet you can't even say yo-ho.
Yo-ho!
That was right. Keep his heads moving, you swabs, but maybe we got some potential here.
So we went right at 7, which turned out to be a good choice. We probably waited in line about 20 minutes, which was pretty good. For the rest of the evening, the line for Pirates was pretty long.
So another line that was surprisingly long was for Alice's Teacups. Long because it also had a special Halloween overlay. So we waited for it, definitely the longest I've ever waited for the Teacups. But it was really fun. I mean, they played kind of like spooky music, rock and roll music. It was a different song every time they were running it. I don't know how many they did. And
lighting,
special lighting, strobe effects, fog effects. So when you're spinning it really fast and with all that extra overlay, it was pretty fun. So just a little extra Halloween thrill on the Teacups over there. they did have Tweedledee and Tweedledum, the Queen of Hearts, Alice, and the Mad Hatter walking around taking photos right outside of the attraction. So there was quite a line for them as well. All the character lines were extremely long, especially the rare characters. So just a heads up, if characters are your thing, what you're going for the Halloween party, I think my only advice is just get in line early because they were long all night.
Bring snacks.
Yeah.
As one does at the Halloween party, we also had to go on Haunted Mansion.
Of course.
They have special lighting. It is awesome. There is fog all around, and it's just extra atmospheric. Like, everyone, when you first walk in and you're in the stretching room and the ghost host is talking, everyone was reciting along.
Oh yeah, everybody screamed when the lights go out and you see the corpse hanging, and everyone was repeating all the lines. It made it 10 times better. I said to Jamie, I wish that everyone was that into it every time we went on Haunted Mansion, because it definitely kind of like ratcheted up the energy. Everybody was into it. Everybody knew the spiel, so it was really fun that way. And it doesn't really, Haunted Mansion doesn't have an overlay, so to speak, but I kind of count it as one of the special attractions of the Halloween party because of the lighting, the fog, just the extra spookiness that they do on the outside. And they do have special performers on the outside of the mansion as well.
Yeah, Madame Carlotta and the Butler.
And Butler Broome, yeah.
And they are hilarious. They are so worth a stop by. We met the Butler last year, and we saw both of them again this year. So here's a little bit from them.
Mark Lavin.
Mark
Yes,
what?
Lavin. Where are you from?
I'm from here in Orlando.
Yes, Butler Broome.
May I announce to you, Madame Carlotta, Mark Lavin of Orlando. What do you do for a living, Mark Lavin?
Oh, I work in radio.
He works in radio.
Oh, I like it.
A dying media, madam. You fit right in with that, don't you?
I do. I can't deny
First the
it.
newspapers, then radio.
I'm not upset about it.
No.
Elder, what about you? Where'd you work? Oh, I'm sorry. You were directing questions.
Yes,
Ask
no,
it.
Brandon Elder, what do you do for a living?
I work at the Hollywood studio.
He makes no money. We're moving on. What do you do at the studios?
I follow a mouse around an island that is on fire as he tries to kill a dragon.
I know
This
this
man
song.
is drunk.
This mouse is on fire! You know, he wouldn't be the only one tonight. I mean, we're high on the spirits, too.
Yes, madam.
Tell Butler Broome my favorite friends.
You want me to tell them of our favorite friends, or they're going to tell
he
me?
said Jack Davis is one of them.
Ah, look, we have a man with a trash panda on his back.
Is it real? What? Oh.
Looks like a raccoon.
He's got a growth.
Yes, a hairy growth, which
It has eyes.
that's my cousin's name.
Growth?
Harry Growth.
Harry Growth.
Yes. He's a delightful man.
How unfortunate
He's
for
a
him.
hunchback. He's a hunchback.
Oh my goodness, Quasimodo stands out. I love Quasimodo.
Do you?
I do.
I know. The second direct-to-video movie was so delightful, everyone hugged in that movie. That's all that movie was. Hunchback 2, The Long Hug.
I could go for a hug, Elder and Mark.
Mark Lavin.
Let's do an air hug.
All right, now Mark Lavin, if you were to announce Madame Carlotta in your radio voice, let me hear this.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Madame
Carlotta.
You forgot my name already? Well, you just piddled in my Cheerios.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give him a second chance. Go ahead, tell
All
me
right,
again.
she's giving it.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Madame Carlotta.
I'm gonna have him play that. Oh, excuse me.
Keep singing! Keep singing! For the love of all in the world, keep singing! All right, enough singing.
That was anticlimactical. I have to go. I think I hear the chain, chain, chain. Chain, chain, chain. Everybody. Woo, woo, woo. Chain, chain. Chain. Chicka. Chicka. Oh, that's the sound. That's the sound of a man working on a chain. Yeah.
Gang!
Don't you know
That's the sound of the man working on the chain.
You're missing your cue. Shake the chain.
Okay.
So they're just hysterical. I would highly recommend carving out some time just to stand in front of the mansion where they let you stand outside of the queue and just watch them banter, watch them go back and forth. They kind of just look at people in the crowd and what costumes they're wearing and riff off of that. And they're just magical to watch. So definitely recommend.
So the final attraction that we did that had a special overlay, and this one was a special overlay, was Space Mountain. Instead of
That was
the
my face
typical,
the whole time.
Yeah. Instead of the typical, you know, you've got your lights, you've got your stuff going on, your spacey soundtrack, they turned the lights completely off. Now, I had said to Kim before we went on the ride, if they really want to terrify people, they should turn the lights on. So you can just Google Space Mountain lights on.
Yeah,
And you'll know
see
it.
how close the track is to your face. And
But honestly, when you take away the context of any bit of light, it made Space Mountain, that was probably the most terrifying experience I have ever had on a ride.
on a Disney ride, for sure. It was great. I mean, it was thrilling. I thought, oh, I don't know how much this could really add. I've been on Space Mountain so many times, and it's never like, you know, it's thrilling, but it's not super thrilling to me. But yeah, without any, they do play like they had like a hard rock soundtrack instead of the normal audio. But without all the lights, you can't anticipate drops. You can't anticipate being jerked around. You can't see anything. It's like completely takes away the context of what's coming next. So without the ability to mentally prepare for a drop or a sudden change in direction, you're screaming. You know, you're totally lost, and it does add that extra thrill. So it was surprisingly effective.
Terrifying.
Yes. Definitely wasn't expecting it to add that much of a thrill, but it certainly did. And I give that 2 shaky thumbs up.
That one was also had a long line throughout the evening for the
Yeah.
most part. You just gotta kind of grin and bear it. I think that our takeaway from the Halloween party this year was that the attraction overlays were really awesome. I hope they do that again in coming years. I hope they do more of it. I hope they do more live actors. Can you
Yes.
imagine if they brought back the moving night, the real night in Haunted Mansion
Oh,
that
I
would
know.
jump up and scare people?
Yeah. I mean, the
Idea
entertainers are just so much fun. They add so much value to literally any attraction they would want to add them to. Pirates, I mean, everyone was enjoying the inline so much, whipping out their cameras. I mean, really enjoying bantering with them, and Gunpowder Pete actually on the ride. It was so special. So I really hope that they do more of that in the future.
Those attractions and seeing them in that form was worth the ticket price alone.
Totally worth it, yeah.
All right, well, there you have it from this year's Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party.
I loved it.
We did. So, until next time, bye.